Sup? Are you still using Origin Access Identity or OAI to secure your S3 buckets behind CloudFront? It's time to step up your security game with Origin Access Control or OAC. In today's video, we're going to explore why OAC is the superior choice for modern AWS architectures, offering enhanced flexibility, security, and control. Not only will we discuss the key differences between OAI and OAC, but I'll even show you how to implement OAC using the latest AWS CDK Layer 2 construct, simplifying the process like never before. This video is a response to a viewer on my previous S3 CloudFront video asking if we could implement the same architecture using OAC. Do you have a question or a request for a video? Let me know down in the comments. Let's dive into the future of secure access with Origin Access Control. Hi, if you're new around here, my name is Ryan. I'm an AWS certified solutions architect and developer, and my goal is to teach you modern serverless system design using AWS. Let's jump in. So let's talk about OAI and OAC. In simple terms, these allow you to restrict access to an S3 bucket that is being used as an origin for a CloudFront distribution. The scope of an Origin Access Identity is only S3 buckets. This provides basic access control through bucket policies, and it's suitable for simple use cases with S3 and CloudFront. However, this is now considered the legacy way of restricting access to your S3 bucket. OAC provides advanced access control for CloudFront origins. It works with multiple origin types, including S3. It provides more granular control with support for headers, signed URLs, and cookies. And it's ideal for modern, secure, and flexible cloud architectures. And when it comes to securing your origins, it's considered best practice. So OAC should be used over OAI anytime you can. It gives you better control over access with more granular permissions and support for security best practices. It works with various origins, not just S3, which makes it way more versatile. It aligns more with modern cloud security strategies, ensuring compatibility with evolving AWS features. And it's considered best practice. OAI is not technically deprecated, as AWS hates to use that word, but I wouldn't be surprised if it disappears in the future. AWS has been known to clean house on old or underused service offerings. The process to implement an Origin Access Control with the AWS CDK used to be doable, but it was a little convoluted. Today, in this video, we're going to be using the brand new Layer 2 construct that was just released in the CDK. This will greatly simplify the process. This feature is only available in the AWS CDK version 2.156.0 and up. However, I'll have the link to this repository listed down in the description, and I'm actually going to include the old way of doing it as well if for some reason you're unable to upgrade to this version. All right, let's jump in and start building. All right, so jumping into the code here, the first thing that we're going to do is make our directory and then initialize our project. We'll call it CDK SPA deployment OAC. We'll cd into that folder. We'll do CDK init app-l TypeScript. All right, perfect. So next let's jump into bin and we'll actually clean up our stack file a little bit. We'll destructure app. We'll clean up all this commented code here. Next, we're going to add this environment constant. This is simply going to allow us to deploy this application into different environments if we choose to in the future. We're just going to do dev right now, but if we wanted to have a staging or a prod instance, we could do that as well. Then we'll modify our stack name so that it can take in that environment variable and then deploy us an environment-specific stack complete with its own stack name. Right now, it's going to yell at us because we actually have to tell it to expect this environment variable to get passed in, so let's go do that now. Inside lib, we're going to clean this up a little bit, just like we did with the last one. We'll destructure stack and stack props from the AWS CDK library, and we'll get rid of this commented code. The first thing we'll do is create this custom interface that will tell our stack to expect that environment variable to be passed in, and then we'll use it here in our stack props. Next, we'll destructure that environment value from our props. This will allow us to use it throughout the stack, including in our S3 bucket. Next, we'll declare the custom domain name that we're going to use with our CloudFront distribution. In this case, it's just going to be Modern Serverless IO that we used last time. Next, we'll declare our Route 53 hosted zone, with the zone name just being equal to whatever our domain name is. Next, we'll declare our SSL certificate for that domain name so that it's served over HTTPS. This is just going to take in two properties, our domain name and then the validation set to a certificate validation from DNS of our hosted zone. Now we are going to have to take one manual step here when we deploy. Because this domain is hosted in GoDaddy, we'll just need to make sure that we update the name servers within our GoDaddy account to match those that are assigned on the hosted zone when we deploy it. It sounds more complicated than it is, but I'll take you through the process when we go to deploy. Next, we'll utilize that environment variable to plug into our S3 bucket that we're going to use to host our single page web application. Because S3 bucket names have to be globally unique, we'll go ahead and pass that environment variable into our bucket name. This will enable us to also have prod or stage deployments if we wanted to in the future. We're going to set block public access to block all. We'll set the default root object to index.html. Next, we'll define our default behavior and set that to an object, where we'll set our origin. And this will be equal to the new layer 2 construct called S3 bucket origin, which will do dot with origin access control, and we'll pass in our S3 bucket. And we'll set our viewer protocol policy to redirect to HTTPS because we're going to be able to, since we'll have a custom domain with an SSL certificate. Finally, outside of default behavior, we're going to define our domain names, which is just going to be an array with our single domain name in it, as well as our SSL certificate. Lastly, we'll define an A record on our hosted zone. This will tell Route 53 that whenever someone visits our website, they will get served the content from our CloudFront distribution. So we'll define zone as our hosted zone, and target as a new record target.from alias, and we'll pass in a new CloudFront target and then pass in our distribution. If you're finding value in this, please don't forget to like the video, and then please let me know down in the comments if there's any other videos that you want to see me make. Okay, so it looks like our infrastructure is all good. The one thing that we did forget to do up here is just remove this question mark, so we're always going to pass in this environment variable. So we'll just do cdk deploy -- context environment equals dev -- profile cloudmancer. If you don't know what profiles are, you can check out this video that I did on them a while back. We'll hit yes, and as soon as we see this hosted zone get created, we're going to go ahead and update those name servers in GoDaddy. All right, our hosted zone is being created. We can refresh our CloudFormation stacks and we can see our new stack is being created right now. We'll hop over into our hosted zone and we can see this modern serverless.io right here. If we jump in here, we can see these name servers. We're just going to go ahead and copy and paste these into GoDaddy. Hopping over here into GoDaddy, we can see modern serverless.io. We can go to DNS. We'll click over here into name servers and we can see the current name servers that we have are the ones that I had from my old hosted zone. So we'll just hit change name servers. Once that's all done, we'll hit save and then continue and verify. Sometimes this asks for two-factor authentication. Okay, so we went ahead and put in our code and then everything looks good. It looks like they've been updated to the hosted zone's name servers. And it looks like our certificate has started to be created. Now that we've updated those name servers, it'll probably take just a few minutes for that certificate to validate. In the meantime, we'll go ahead and clone our Vue application and then build it so we'll have something in our S3 bucket that CloudFront can serve. If you don't have an application, I actually have a sample one that you can get from my GitHub. Do git clone. We'll paste it here. We'll cd into the application and we'll npm i. We'll run npm run build. All right, now that that's built, let's jump back over into AWS and make sure that our S3 bucket exists. Okay, cool. So we can refresh our S3 buckets and we can see the myspa bucket dev. And then we're going to go ahead and run a command to copy all of those build Vue files into our S3 bucket. We'll run AWS S3 CP -- recursive, the dist folder, which is where all of our compiled JavaScript is, into our S3 bucket, which is just S3 / myspa bucket dev. And then again, we'll include our profile of cloudmancer. All right, it looks like our certificate validated. Now our CloudFront distribution has begun creating. This usually takes about 5 minutes or so. All right, our CloudFront distribution finished creating, and now it's just going to create our record set in Route 53. All right, so if we go here to modern serverless.io, we can see that our Vue app was successfully deployed. We can head over here into CloudFront, we can go into our distribution, and if we go here into origins and we select our origin and we edit it, we can see that the origin access is set to origin access control. Obviously recommended because this is considered best practice. I'll have this GitHub repository with all this code linked down in the description. And inside this repository, I'm also going to include the old way of doing things if you can't upgrade to 2.156.0 with the new layer 2 construct. That about wraps up the video for today. Don't forget to like the video. And then please let me know down in the comments if there's any other videos that you want to see me make on this channel. Thank you for watching.